Everyone, you're with Lucy, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these great new Derivan paints that I have, and I also have a very special discount for you if you want to buy some too. So these are Aussie made paints which I'm incredibly excited about. They're lovely big tubes, they're 12 milliliter tubes, so they're a nice big tube. All the colours are on the top of the tube. I'm going to show you in my next video of putting it into a palette, but at the moment I was just too excited to show you the paints and get started, so I'm going to do this. What I tend to do is set up a palette when I do postcards, when I do lots of postcards the same. And one of my favourite postcards is a little tree of life postcard that I create that is great as a gift for somebody, and it has a little swing under the tree. So what I'm going to do is show you this. I'm going to use my toilet paper dabber that I created in another video, which you can also go and have a look at. There'll be a link there, how to make that. And I'm just going to use a squirrel hair brush, which is this one here, and it's just the S&S squirrel hair brush. And I'm using water. So the first thing I'm going to do is just basically draw the shape of a tree. And this is really up to you what kind of shape tree you do. And I want it to be pretty flat here at the bottom. And then I'm going to do the bough of the tree, and then that's going to go down to some ground. So I'm doing just the roughest little drawing here. Then I'm going to take, I'm using here the Australian Sap Green, which is quite a bright green, but this wants to be quite a pretty tree. So I'm just getting some, putting some water in and mixing some up. Like I said, I'll use this palette to do more of these trees. So then I'm just going to take this green, and with my brush I'm going to dab it on. Now it's quite wet what I'm doing here, and the reason I want that is because I am going to let some other colours flow into it. So we don't want it to have really regular edges, and we want to leave little holes in the tree for where the sun or the light comes through. Then I'm going to take this darker green here, mix it with some water, and I'm also going to put some of the darker green in some of the shadow areas. And that just gives the tree more a 3D look. Now it's quite hot here today, so the paint is drying quite quickly, but I don't really mind that cauliflower look that we're going to get. Then I'm just washing my brush, and I'm just going to dry the brush slightly, and then I'm going to pick up some of the yellow, because I want the yellow to be quite pure, and I want it to actually fall in just there. A little bit more water. So you don't want pools of water. Now this yellow, I can see on the paper here, is pushing the green aside and giving some really nice bright areas. And then I'll go back to the dark areas, and under the bright areas put some colour. So you just want to make the tree quite simple. I'll let that dry. I can still add to it. So again, you can see here I'm cleaning my brush, and I'm using this to keep a nice shape on my brush. Now I'm going to take my brown and just put in a little bit, tiny bit more water. I'm putting in the bough of the tree. Now this is far too bright a brown. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of the burnt, a bit of the ultramarine, or it's called ultra blue. And when you add the blue to the brown, it just makes it slightly more grey. And Gives it a bit of depth, a little bit more brown on there. So your burnt sienna and your ultra blue make a terrific grey colour. And I believe under a tree we're going to have this kind of a grey colour. So I'm just spreading the grey as a shadow under the tree, washing my brush, and then I'm going to pick up a bit of the mixed of greens to also put some green under here. Make it pretty random, and then I'm just picking up, I'll just mix a little bit of the grey. You can see here I keep cleaning my brush, and you can turn the toilet roll as you need to do it. So here I'm using ultra blue and burnt sienna to make a great grey shadow colour. Now if it starts to get hard to put your paint down, just dry it off a little. So I'm just going to dry it off with my heat gun. And I'm just going to add some more of the dark, because you want it to be dark under the tree. There's a shadow here, bit of a shadow, and I'm using, for a little bit of the shadow, I'm using the Australian leaf green, because we have their Australian sap green and Australian leaf green. They work beautifully together. So then I'm just going to go through and put some darker areas in the tree where the leaves, now the tree is quite dry now, so when you put these areas in, you can see that they look more effective. So you can keep working wet on wet and get nowhere, or you can change and just let it dry naturally, or force it dry. And again, I'm just being quite rough because it is a tree. And always making sure that I've got that nice shadow here under the tree, and it comes here. So I'm also going to take my brush and do some grass. And the darker colour, you can actually add grass. And all of the dark here, I'm doing grass in the shadow. Again, I just love the toilet roll dabber that I've created for this purpose. Again, I'm going to take some of the yellow with just a little bit of water, and some areas I'm just going to add this brighter yellow, even around the edges of the tree, so that we kind of have that feeling of the sun being in the other areas. Now all we need to do, now you could make the tree a different shape. I like to actually go through and make it quite irregular. So I use the edge of my brush, and in some places I make it look like there are leaves poking out. But how far you go with this is really up to you. It's just very simple. And the last thing I'm going to do is take some of this darker brown, and I'm just going to do some branches within the tree, just inside those white areas where I think that I might have seen a branch. And you can add a little bit of the ultra blue into that as well. And that gives us the look of the tree. Now to finish it off, I like to draw a little swing under the tree, and sometimes I'll just put some outlines, but I like to put a little swing hanging under the tree. And we have a little picture that we can use. Now this is a great card for many occasions. So you can actually put a silhouette of a little person under the tree as well. But I just wanted to quickly show you how easy it is. Now I have this palette set up now to do these, so I can do lots of different trees in lots of different ways. When I look at it as it dries, I'm sort of seeing, might just need to put a little bit more shadow here and just darken it a little bit in certain areas. This has all been done with one brush and some simple paints. Now for the exciting thing is, if you love these paints, please make sure that you head over to Derivan. The link is in my bio. Head over there and put down Lucy20 and you will get 20% discount on your watercolors and also watercolor palettes and also your acrylic paints. So if you are looking for some great paints that are a nice quality made in Australia, they are student quality, but to be honest, I make a lot of cards and do things like that for giveaways, and I find that that is a great way to use your paint. So thank you everybody, and watch more of my videos. Make sure you subscribe.